Girls Versus Ghouls. Good evening and welcome. This is Girls Versus Ghouls. We're on episode 3. We're going to be talking about the Point Sur Lighthouse.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
I
Okay,
support the blanket. I'm sweating.
Oh, are you? It's kind of cold in my room. It's always cold in my room, though. Okay, let's get this show on a road.
All right, does everyone feel good?
Oh, fantastic. I want ice cream, but forefront of my mind.
I bought the wrong ice cream yesterday. I thought I got the coffee
dear
buzz,
child.
but I got like
No.
some toffee shit, and I'm very upset.
Not the
Just
toffee
kidding.
shit.
My notebook.
That's a cool notebook. Let me see the
thank
front.
you. I got a Target.
Cute.
It's
I got peanut butter
$9.95.
Butterfinger ice cream. I can't wait to fuck it
Ooh.
up. Oh, I can't wait.
That sounds fucking delicious. Okay, wait, what is it like with a guy with a cute girl calendar? What is it? I'm gonna mess this up later.
Yeah. Ew.
Sorry. That's what the way you said that made me think of that.
I'm gonna mess this up later.
It's like Will Ferrell from the other guys. He's like, with his
What did he
wife.
say?
Like, I'm gonna totally wreck you. You won't be able to walk right for a week.
You're not gonna walk right for a week.
That's how I'm gonna talk to my ice cream before I devour it.
Please no. It's gonna
Okay,
be like
anyway.
it's gonna be like a Haagen-Dazs commercial in there.
Yeah.
You know, like super sexualized food for no fucking reason.
Because
Isn't that everybody?
Sexy.
Aren't we doing it
This
right
is
now?
provocative.
Because it's provocative. It's what the people like.
It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know what it means, but it's provocative. All right, now we can get started.
Nice.
All right,
I thought we-
everyone, how are we doing?
Fantastic.
Madeline?
I'm trying to get my Discord window to get out of the way of my notes, and I just can't. Like, you know.
All right, technical difficulties.
I'm just gonna. You guys just gotta get minimized. Well,
Good
wait,
thing
hold
you have
on now. I'm an idiot.
Hey,
Ignore
it is my
me.
right to take up space.
It is my
Do not ask-
birthright.
Yeah, do not ask me to minimize myself.
Yeah, I did the little sidecar thing today for my iPad and my computer, and I gotta say, I love it.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. I gotta say, I'm just living the dream.
All right, like I said in the outset, this week we're going to be talking about the Point Sur Lighthouse, located it's a small island jutting just off the coast of around Monterey, part of Big Sur State Park. Beautiful location, by the way. Looking at some of
Gorgeous.
those, oh my gosh, those videos and those photos were definitely. I'm excited about going to that location just
Yeah.
for the views.
Dad went there and he said he really loved it.
Oh,
He
wait,
didn't go to the
really?
Point. He didn't go to the Point Sur Lighthouse. Let me correct that, but he did go to camped at Point Sur for 2 weeks with
you mean
Jesse.
Big Sur or
Oh, sorry, Big Sur. Yeah, no, did I say Point Sur?
yeah, you did.
Oh, Big Sur. Correction, Big Sur.
I do remember that's when he went on a camping trip with Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never actually been to Big Sur. It's
Me
been
either.
a bucket list thing of mine. You know, you live in California your whole life, and there's places you don't see. Unless
Everything.
you really try to do sometimes. Yeah.
Apparently too much because we're realizing how much things that we have not seen in our own state.
No, that's something that I'm realizing.
I haven't even seen
the-
all of San Diego when I lived there.
No, that's my whole point. Like,
Crazy.
the idea that people have that the world has shrunk is just an illusion. It's hasn't changed in size. In fact, it's only gotten bigger with more people creating new cool things and new stories, new legends, new houses, new fields, new things to look at that we've named and recorded. We're going to die not having seen everything.
Oh,
And that's
geez.
okay.
Oh my god.
You got to make peace with that. I guess unless you come back as a ghost and you're somehow able to travel around.
First of all, no.
No. Okay. But it doesn't seem like when you're a ghost you really want to travel around.
It
Yeah,
seems more
exactly.
like you're stuck. Like, I don't know if you have a
That would
choice.
be-
I don't know. Unless you
Maybe.
get into one of those ghost vortex, like.
Maybe you don't realize you're a ghost when you're a ghost, and so you don't realize you can maybe leave. Maybe it's like Groundhog Day for them. Maybe they're reliving. I mean, I guess it's what a residual haunting is.
I
Yeah,
gotta say
where
that
it's not
I've never
necessarily
I've never
uh,
seen that movie.
What?
Groundhog Day, right? With Bill Murray.
Bill Murray.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Bill
Okay, we're-
fucking Murray.
Bill fucking Murray.
Murray.
You're gonna have to see that movie immediately
That's-
after we
no,
stop
no, that's-
recording.
That's my bad. I don't know.
Do you
how I haven't
understand what
seen
the
it.
reference is when someone said it's like Groundhog Day?
Yeah, I do not understand the reference.
Okay,
But I have
just
not
like
seen the
you're,
movie.
you're repeating the same day over and over again. Yeah, that's what that means.
That sounds horrible. Unless it's a good day. Oh, remember, it reminds me of what's that little Japanese show we watched as a kid when that one episode he kept reliving the same day and the girl's like, it's been like 1,000
The
something.
Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya season 2.
Yes.
All 10 episodes of that season were them repeating the same day with just minor changes, and they had to try to get out of the loop. Great anime.
Incredible. So you should use that reference.
When you understand an anime
Yeah.
reference.
See, that one's so good. Because that was crazy.
So from now on, instead of it's like Groundhog Day, I'll say it's a Haruhi Suzumiya season 2.
Yeah, and I'd be like, "Ugh, exactly. Actually, they actually have that on. I think it's Fundimation. If you guys ever want to relive that and watch it together.
I might have to. Oh my gosh, they actually have
Jesus.
an episode.
So
Sorry.
excited.
Scared the fuck out of
Do
me.
you guys remember there was a really scary episode of Haruhi Suzumiya where they went to a haunted island?
Yeah. And no, they
Yes.
didn't even go to a haunted island. They were like, they wanted to play, like the people who lived there played it for her because she likes to, like, detective. That was like their whole thing, supernatural. But then she manifested a demon or like an entity onto that island because, she's like pretty much God.
Yeah.
And like, they're like, well, did you see that thing? They're like, yeah, but if it was all a joke, what was that? Never knew. They
Yeah,
left
that was-
something on the island.
I remember that being a pretty freaky episode. I would want to revisit that.
Well, sign me up. Wasn't there a movie too?
Ooh, yeah, there was. But actually, this is a good segue. Speaking of visiting a scary place, Madeline,
Yeah.
I think it's time to talk about.
Are we
the
done
Point
talking
Sur
about
Lighthouse.
anime?
I found a smooth transition, and I'm going for it. All right, we're talking about the Point Sur Lighthouse, and we're going to start with a bit of history. Maddie has been doing some research, and we're all going to learn a little bit about this beautiful but potentially haunted location.
All
Slide
right.
into it, Madeline.
Ugh. I don't like that.
Dive in.
There we go. Okay. So the Point Sur Lighthouse was first mentioned, the area, not the lighthouse, in 1552 by Juan Rodriguez Carriello. I'm gonna pretend that's how you say it. Yes.
Sounded good.
Yeah.
Just power through.
Yeah.
I've tried multiple times, and I'm like, every time I'm like, I don't think that's right, but sure.
Gotta let it roll off the tongue. Cabrero.
Whoa. Joel just seduced me right there.
It's a double L. It would be a
Whoa.
brio.
Oh, bro.
Cabrero.
Oh, I can't do that. With
Yeah,
my
see,
tongue.
it's too much. Okay, anyway.
Anyway,
I guess
it's a
this
beautiful Spanish
this
language.
guy is particularly known for exploring up and down the West Coast, and he described it as generally just being a dangerous location, and it's basically a known thing for sailors. It was just like stay like roughly 6 miles away from this area. Like it just
Jeez.
became known because they're like, if you go like too close, there's like a lot of like rocks and stuff that are hidden under the water that you can hit, and which has caused many of the shipwrecks that have happened in this area. So the
I wanna do-
original rock itself, the volcanic rock that Point Sur now sits at, was originally 360 feet tall, It now sits at 270 feet because they blasted about 90 feet of rock off, because originally the top was about 10 to 12 feet across, so they couldn't build anything on top of there. So they had to bring it down a bit to make it enough space to build things. And this took a lot of work. But
I bet.
yeah, especially for that time. But Andrew Johnson signed the executive order that reserved the site for a lighthouse in 1866. And the board of the United States Lighthouse Service stated in 1874 that Point Sur is the most important point and should be the site of a lighthouse. In considering the various points on the California coast where lighthouses are still required, Point Sur claims the place of greatest importance. So I guess very dangerous, even though I cannot find a recording of like shipwrecks prior to the one that happened in 1875. But I just assumed that because there was probably just like less documentation. I don't know. Can't find it. But apparently it was still very dangerous.
I mean, it looks dangerous today, so I would imagine.
They also built a 3-story sandstone triplex, which is a 3-apartment building type of house built into one for the 3 families of the lighthouse keeper's like assistants. And then the main officer, the main lighthouse keeper, he and his family got a separate home.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
When I think of a lighthouse attendant or keeper, I don't think of them needing assistance and all these people living there.
They had to man it 24 hours a day. So like while 2 guys are sleeping, 2 guys are up working, and then vice versa. They had to switch them out. It was generally 3 to 4 people at a time were stationed at the lighthouse.
Okay,
but
and because
it
it's
was
remote, you have to live there.
They couldn't just. I don't know, like it was the only road there was like a long, apparently treacherous road to Monterey. So
Jeez.
it was you're not gonna live off site. You gotta live there.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, there was also a barn for horses and cattle. They eventually built like a carpenter and blacksmith shed so that the lighthouse keepers could be more self-sufficient, because it was kind of a pain to wait for supplies and stuff. Oh, and they also had a very small patch of land for farming to grow their own vegetables for like.
Was it that one little flower garden we saw in the video?
I think so. It might be the same
It was
one.
tiny.
They had to like bring dirt in to like build that. But yeah, so on August 1st of 1889, the lighthouse was done, and the first lighthouse keeper and his assistants moved in. And like, here we go. Life on Point Sur was very isolated. The one road led to Monterey.
I would hate it.
Yeah, very dangerous. The U.S. Lighthouse Service provided a horse and wagon to get mail and supplies. But yeah,
Kind of fantastic.
now the Big Sur State Park. Families lived in the lighthouse with them. Lighthouse keepers, specifically William Mollering. He requested the local school district if they would provide a teacher, because they're like, our kids, they need to be taught, and this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
now you're gonna have another little home for a teacher?
No, you'll find out. The school district agreed on the condition that there would be at least 6 students, and in order to meet that criteria, the lighthouse keeper had to start his son a year early for school. But because he did that, they were able to bring a teacher there. And generally the teachers were young women, like they're just getting out of college and hoping to like get some teaching experience before they get a job. Yeah. And they would stay in the main lighthouse keeper's house and held classes in a shed behind the main dwellings. And they wouldn't stay for very long. They would like get switched out because it was isolated. And these, thing with unmarried lighthouse keepers would also not stay as long as like married lighthouse keepers, because family and loneliness, those are your options. Imagine how sad it is. You're like there by yourself and you see this guy with his wife and his 2 kids or something. You're like, I wish I had that.
Way to rub it in.
I gotta get out of here.
Find me a wife.
But yeah, that was the teacher
real quick, that could actually be a really cute romantic comedy where there's like a single lighthouse keeper
and the lighthouse keeper. That's what I thought. I was like, they could have a little relationship. They could fall in love.
That'd be the cutest movie.
There's not a lot of information about deaths happening at the lighthouse, so it's a lot of just
Well, none of the
daily life information.
None of the actual keepers died there, right?
No, not that I could find.
Huh.
Which is surprising because I was like, it's so isolated, but like no one died. None of the, like them or their children, you know, it's like the late 1800s and stuff, and like there's a lot of like tuberculosis, but I guess at the same time you're isolated, maybe it didn't even get over there.
Yeah, not affected.
Like,
Yeah, maybe
what,
you're less likely
what
to get sick over there.
tuberculosis?
What tuberculosis?
Not on this island.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, huh? I personally would not ever. You couldn't pay me enough to be doing that work.
To be a lighthouse keeper?
No, I couldn't be isolated like that.
Yeah, very important job, but yeah, I could see how it's not for everybody because of being isolated for weeks at a time.
Yeah, I think
I
that's
don't think
probably why they did the thing with the families. You know, they're like, well, you can bring your wife and your children.
And
Doesn't that
live there
sound
for
pretty
free.
good? But not much happened beyond that. I heard this funny story about, I mean, I thought it was funny. There was like these two lighthouse keepers. One had a cow and he would milk it and sell the milk to the other lighthouse keepers. But he and another lighthouse keeper did not get along for some reason. I could not find out why, but they didn't like each other. And so the guy with the cow stopped selling milk to the other guy. He was like, no, you can't have milk. So the other guy was like, fine, I'll just order milk from Monterey and I'll have it brought in every day by buggy to the front gate. 3 gallons of it on the daily. Yes.
That's a lot of milk. And
That's
that's a
a
lot
lot
of
of
travel.
So this
Joke's on you, motherfucker.
yeah.
I'm paying $50 for every day for
Every
milk.
3 gallons a day?
That's what it said. I was like, that's a lot of milk, man. How much?
Yeah.
Why you
Okay,
need that
first
much
of all,
milk?
He was
The
pissed.
hilarity. That's the other movie I want made
Yeah,
about this.
but eventually, like the guy who had the cow like lifted the restriction, but the other guy was still salty about it, and eventually the guy who was buying the milk left, and yeah.
That is so funny. Just the fact that there's only like 3 or 4 of them.
This
and
is
it's like-
this
it's
is
like,
the
here-
nonsense that they had
Yeah,
to get
he's
up
like,
to.
yeah, here you could have milk.
You can't have
You don't-
milk.
I want more petty lighthouse stories.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. And then the lighthouse was automated in 1972, and the last lighthouse keeper left in 1974.
Wow.
And those
Not
are
even that
the
long ago. That's crazy.
so that's the general like base history, and then I'm gonna get into the shipwrecks now. The most notable shipwrecks that, well, these are apparently the most notable. Most of them not much
Let's do
happened,
it.
but let's do it. So the first wreck of mention is the USS Ventura, which happened on April 20th of 1875. So this is like 14 years before the lighthouse is built.
yeah.
Okay. So
Wait, so this is the first recorded shipwreck.
yeah.
Notable shipwreck.
Notable? Okay.
Yeah, this is I mean, this is the first one that I could find that anyone talks about. So
Gotcha.
recorded,
Ostensibly,
notable,
yeah.
either or, whichever one.
Ostensibly, there were definitely shipwrecks before then. Hence,
Yes,
you know,
yeah, but
why I was worried.
yeah, but I can't find anything about those.
Got you. So the first notable shipwreck.
Yeah,
was
so
the
that was the USS Ventura, and no one died on that ship. But I do have some, I don't know, I think it's funny context. It's, you know, probably wasn't funny for the family involved, but for us in the future, we can be like, oh, haha, that sucks.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, I want to know.
So what
made my sister laugh?
Okay, so in 1874, the Partingtons, which they if you've ever been to Big Sur, they have like a plot of land still that has their name on it because they like settled in this area, and they, one of the first settlers among them, So the Partingtons and their 5 children made the treacherous journey to their new home high on an isolated 1,700-foot mountaintop in Big Sur, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. I don't know where they were coming from.
Oh,
I think they
okay.
were coming from San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah, San Francisco.
Was there an earthquake? No.
Yeah. Exactly.
1874. I mean, this is about little under 10 years after the big Hayward earthquake.
Right. After the big one.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So the mountain overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The journey from Santa Cruz was simply grueling. Apparently, I can imagine. You always hear those stories that like Oregon Trail, like how awful all that stuff was, like how because like for when we travel, we're in an air conditioned car, we're going like 80 miles an hour.
They're all the snacks.
Yeah, like, and they're going like it's 100 degrees as they go through Death
Cruise
Valley.
control.
Yeah, and like someone has fucking typhoid. Everyone's dying. This guy got bit by a rattlesnake, apparently. Everything sounded awful. So, simply grueling journey. So, as they make their way up their mountains to their homestead, on a steep peak, on a narrow coast trail, one of their mules slipped and fell over the edge, dragging with the 3 other mules and one of their traveling companions who would be their future neighbor, Thomas B. Slate. He survived the fall. No, we're not the funny part yet. He survived.
Oh, really? Because I thought that.
I mean, I think. Okay. The funny part in the end is all the bullshit they dealt with, and the future insight that we have. We can look back and laugh at their dismay, and I find it funny. But not for poor Thomas. He just fell down a cliff. He had severe injuries, but he did survive.
Oh, good for him. Good job, Thomas.
He's alive. So
did he land on the mules?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if the mules survived. I couldn't find that.
How are these mules?
But I guess since the mules fell, mules carry a lot of, pack mules. They carry the stuff. So their stuff, many of their belongings tumbled hundreds of feet down this cliff, and they never took that. They never, it was probably too dangerous to even try to go get it. So they never did.
That sucks.
So now we're on to the Ventura. On Tuesday, April 20th of 1875, the Ventura set sail from San Francisco with 225 passengers and 500 tons of freight cargo.
Okay.
Including all the Partington's worldly goods.
Worldly?
Worldly.
Oh, I was like, what?
The commander of the Ventura. Oh yeah, this is a bit of the guy who, the captain. He was an Englishman named Captain George John Fake. Sus. He's fake. He's an imposter. It's not really him. He was apparently a veteran mariner who had many years of sailing north to San Francisco, in that direction, but he's never headed south from Monterey. So he's never done this trip before in particular. He's always gone the other direction. Little context there for the, future aftermath. Okay, so
he wasn't ready.
I'm waiting for the funny part.
Yeah.
It's already happened.
Did you say it already happened?
No. Around 9 p.m., the Ventura wrecked on a submerged cluster of rocks just north of Point Sur, around 200 yards from shore. It was said that the absence of the lighthouse on the coast was a contributing factor. However, the Sacramento Daily Union informed its readers that Captain Fake was indulging too frequently in liquor.
Oh, he was a drunk boy.
So, on top of being in an area he's never sailed before, he was apparently wasted.
Damn it, Captain.
And I guess on top of that, it was also foggy that night, which is what also led, there was these...
So not only am I drunk, but I can't see.
I don't know where I am.
I don't know where I am, but I feel great. My gut says this way.
I was like, oh, what was that?
Why would you fail me, gut?
I think we're sinking.
Oh no, worst words to ever come out of somebody's mouth.
But yeah, I think that I found that story funny just because I was like, that poor family. Haha.
Of all the captains they could have been on a boat with.
Yeah, I guess there was this. I mean, no one. The lucky about this is that none of the passengers or crew died in the wreck.
I mean, thank goodness. But
they lost all their worldly possessions.
Yeah, the Parringtons are very upset. They lost their stuff, but no one died. So there is that.
So the Parringtons live on their house, but they have no furniture.
Oh yeah, there's also the fact that I guess they tried to go down to the shore to retrieve some of their items if they could to see what they could find, and when they got there, there were like already a bunch of people in the water on their like little skiffs and shit, like grabbing whatever they could, and so they ended up
like stealing their stuff?
just like grabbing whatever. I guess this was common whenever there were shipwrecks. People would just like take.
Oh my god!
Yeah, people would just take whatever they could like get, and they would, you know, they would use parts of the ship if it came to shore and like build parts. Like I guess on top of the Ventura, there was they also had a bunch of buggies and like wagons, and people were able to salvage those. And all the way up until like I think like the late like 1930s, people were still using those same wagons apparently that like shipwrecked from the Ventura. So
Seems
like
uncouth.
it helped the area, I suppose.
Jump started the local economy. With
Yes,
these buggies.
shipwrecks.
Jeez.
Our
boom
main
market of
our main
salvage.
import or shipwrecks.
Imagine you're that family and you're like walking. You're like, I swear to God, that's my dress. And this girl's just walking. Swear to God, that's my freaking dress and my buggy.
Oh.
Not the buggy.
Not my buggy. No, that's
Oh.
wild.
Okay, so the
That poor
next,
family.
this is probably the one of the two most notable of the shipwrecks, which would be
Okay.
the Los Angeles. This-
okay, I remember hearing about
Yes. So this is this is an expert. So I was reading about the Los Angeles wreck, and part of it seemed a little sus. So I wanted to touch on it a bit because I was like, this is strange. And this one, people actually did die. So
that one. What makes it sus?
I'll get to
You'll
it.
see.
I'll read to you. I found an expert, export.
An expert on sus. Let's
Yes.
go.
From a newspaper clipping from the time of from the Monterey local news.
Okay.
So this was posted the following day on the 23rd. So on Monterey, April 22nd, the steamer Los Angeles was wrecked last night on a sunken rock off Point Sur, some 20 odd miles south of this city, which was Monterey. The night was as calm. This is brought up a lot about how calm the seas were that night. Apparently it was very uncommon for the seas to be calm in this area, but it was noted a couple times that it was extremely calm that night. So the night was
Too
as
calm.
yeah, too calm. Yeah, the night was as calm as it could be, and at 9 o'clock, the crew of the Point Sur Lighthouse was aroused by cries for aid. With a quick survey,
You mean roused?
yeah.
Not aroused.
Did I not fix that? Yeah, there's a lot of typos in here because it's the same like.
I like a rat.
Yeah, it's the same like.
Aroused by-
Whoa, who's screaming? Whoa there.
Ooh, I guess I'm a sadist now.
Ooh.
I tried to fix most of the typos, but if it didn't have like a little underlined squiggly because it was like totally misspelled, like it's hard to catch them because it's,
No,
so
I
it's
like
yeah,
it. Keep
it's
going.
like they're what's the word? I keep forgetting this word. They're fixed old records that aren't quite right. You know,
Okay.
some of the spelling's wrong. So they were
right,
roused
just
by
go.
cries for aid. After a quick survey of the field, that was all that needed because apparently in plain sight was the steamer the Los Angeles, and it was a complete wreck, is what they said.
Ooh.
So information of the accident was apparently very difficult to obtain. The only eyewitnesses were the passengers of the ill-fated vessel. They were very effectively muzzled by Captain Leland of the Eureka, who met the crowd of citizens of this city who had congregated at the Pacific Coast Steamship Company's wharf here when his ship arrived with the rescued passengers with the words, "To hell with all these reporters, say nothing to them about the wreck." So this is not the captain of the Los Angeles. This is the captain of the Eureka who picked up the shipwreck survivors and stuff of the accident. Okay.
Okay.
You're following? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I'm following.
I'm tracking.
So next part. Now this was their like official release story, I guess, is what he got, like the reporter. So how it happened. After leaving their destination, Captain Leland of the Los Angeles You recognize that name, Captain Leland? Because there's a Captain Leland of the Eureka and there's a Captain Leland of the Los Angeles. And they are brothers.
Oh, really?
Yes, they are brothers. So okay. Next. Captain Leland of Los Angeles left his third officer in command and requested that when they're about to arrive at Point Sur, the man at the helm should be sure to call him, as he wanted to be on deck when they passed through that dangerous area. It says this was not done, and the first inclination of danger that the captain had was when the steamer struck on a hidden rock and was going to the bottom of the sea. With all the desperation of a wild man, he rushed out of his cabin, exclaiming at the top of his voice, my God, we are lost."
Okay, if I ever run anywhere, I want you guys to say that about me.
Wait, real quick. The captain said that?
That's the captain speaking, yes. This is apparently what the captain said.
What a rock of support for everybody else. We're fucked. You have the head of the ship and he's like, throw it all over. Run, oh my God. Abandon hope, all ye who enter here.
No.
Damn, Captain.
Chill. That reminds me of The Office when they're on the ship. We're all gonna die.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing happening.
Okay. And then it says, quickly recovering his composure, Captain Leland proceeded to save all that could be saved of the vessel that had been entrusted to his command. And the lifeboats were lowered. More efficient aid could undoubtedly have been given had not the crew been panic-stricken by the antics of their commanding officer.
For real.
But at last, the work of the captain was inaugurated, and the first boats loaded of women and children were set to effect a landing in the most available spot along the rugged shore of the most rugged country. After many fruitless attempts to land, the boat finally was unloaded of its precious treasures, including 6 women about 2 miles south of the lighthouse. The precious women. We saved them.
Precious ones. My precious.
Of the other 5 lifeboats, there are particulars of the landing of only one, which was in charge of the second mate of the Los Angeles, and it contained 12 women and children. So I guess we don't know the exact amount of people in any of the other boats.
Okay,
we continue. So the next part of the reporter's story is called "The Eureka's Timely Arrival." It says the Eureka was heading south when it encountered a raft with survivors from the wreck of the Los Angeles. She arrived here at 1 o'clock with all the passengers and a small quantity of wreckage. Captain Geo Leland of the Los Angeles was among those on the Eureka, but to questions asked of him regarding the wreck, he gave the same answer. I don't know anything about it. This is the captain of the Los Angeles, the captain of the ship that crashed, saying, I don't know anything about it.
So he's like, is he
right? So
like that he doesn't know like what happened?
This is this is why I think that the crash was caused by some type of neglect on the captain's part, because his brother is telling everyone like not to say shit. He is saying, I don't know what happened. Like he's pleading the fifth. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
He's not gonna talk.
Yeah, like so that's why I thought this was super sus. I was like, if people die, I think people died in this accident because of negligence on like the captain's behalf or something. Because like as far as we know, he was not in the helm when it wrecked. He was like in his cabin, doing whatever.
Did people die? 6
people.
Oh wow!
And that included children and women.
Did he go to jail?
No, as far as I can, like I looked it up and I had assumed if there were repercussions involved, they would have been writing about it. I couldn't find anything about him or his brother or anything, so I don't think that there were anything really involved in afterward. I was like, maybe this captain was like drinking or something, because it seems to be very common for captains to be drinking while they're supposed to, you know, because they're just on a ship for days on end, I guess, when you get your downtime when you're the captain. But when you're about to be passing through a really dangerous point, and that I've also, on top of that, he's never gone through this area before, you know, like this will be his first time traveling through this supposed dangerous area, and he wasn't. Yeah, so I don't know. As stated above, his brother, Captain Leland of the Eureka, profoundly refused even the smallest curiosities to reporters, and positively commanded the people on his ship to deny information to every description to those on shore. Super sus.
What?
Yeah, that's why.
Don't talk to the press. Well, this is potentially a press disaster.
Yeah, the only particulars obtainable this evening are those from Farmer Gilkey, who very cheerfully left his bed to ride to Monterey after medical aid for sufferers in the wreck. The party called Gilkey out of bed and made the request that he come here and come here for assistance. He told him that Captain Leland of the Los Angeles was dying from his bruises received while being tossed around on the rocks, and that a doctor would be necessary if the captain's life was to be saved.
Wait. Did you say dying of his bruises?
Yeah, dying of his bruises.
What got bruised? His spleen?
Maybe internal, I don't know, but he's got bruises.
Bruising of the organs?
But yeah, Gilkey also says that the same party informed him that 2 of the passengers who had gone overboard in the rocks had been mashed out of all recognition and had died a few minutes after leaving the boat.
Jesus
Oh my God.
So they were just like lacerated against the rocks by the waves, essentially.
So you guys kind of get why I thought this was super sus with the whole like brothers connection. They're both like, don't say anything, don't talk about it.
That's
you know.
weird.
But I have a crew member's account here that the reporter managed to get, and once again the crew member starts out by bringing up the weather and how it was extremely calm for the time, and that it's usually never like that. They generally encounter strong winds after leaving San Simmons, but the trip was going very good, and because of that they counted on getting to their destination ahead of time. At about 7:30, this is the crew member's quote, "At about 7:30 I was on deck having a smoke, and I remarked to the watchman that we were making exceptionally good time. Yes," he said, we will make Point Sur by 8:30. I said I thought we would surely get there before then. Then I went down to the saloon and helped the freight clerk in his work and remained there until 8:45. Just as we got through, we felt a shock like a light bump. This was followed by a pretty stiff crash that threw the ship on her side.
Whoa.
My goodness.
Yeah. When I returned from below, where I had gone to save what I could of my effects, all the boats and the rafts were gone, and the 3 of us who were then aboard had no earthly chance of escape, seemingly.
Oh no. That must be so scary.
Yeah. Then the
Real quick, I of course have never been in a shipwreck. It sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
I've never even been on a boat for that
That's
exact
true.
reason. Scares me half to death.
How did he survive?
Why were all the rafts and stuff gone? He just took so long.
Well, yeah, I guess like a couple of the like sailors went in to get some of their stuff from their cabins, and by the time they had came back, like all the lifeboats had been filled up, and boop, they were like, let's get out of here.
You said the ship went on its side?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
So, it says, then the second mate, who proved himself the hero of the occasion, called out, all hands to the rigging and every man for himself. Mind you, at the time, the stern of the boat was all underwater and sinking fast.
Ooh.
So one of the guys...
Is that the front or the back of the boat?
I believe the stern is the front. Oh no,
God.
I think that's the back. Fuck.
I think
I'm not
I
a
think,
I think
I
that's
think
the back. I
Shipwreck
think
is
the
the back.
port
Yeah.
is the front.
I'm gonna go with
Or
that.
is that the left?
I'm gonna Google it. One second, I'll Google it.
Please. I didn't even think of doing research on this parts of a boat for this.
But so yeah, the second mate, I guess, had been like, he yelled to them to like look. He like came to a connection that if they climbed up the rigging, they could like get away from the sinking water. So I guess that's what made him the hero of the occasion. That his quick thinking, like, and telling everyone else, like, got more people saved.
Wait, so
The captain's among this group,
Oh,
just so you know.
It's the back.
Oh,
It is the back.
it is the back.
Okay.
It's the back.
Okay. Thank you, Al.
You're welcome.
So, the water was just rushing forward. This is the guy's quote again. I ran forward, and the captain, who had hold of two of the stays, which I think is like the ropes, pulled himself up one and gave me the other. We all pulled ourselves as far up as we could. I went as far as the boom and rested there a while. Yeah, they're like yanking themselves up a rope, you know. There's a lot of upper body strength happening right now.
And that is where Allison died. There is. I literally do a pull up. We all know my struggle. I would have died. They'd be like, yeah, Allison, here's the rope. Pull yourself up. I'd be like, ah.
I know you have no upper body strength.
I do know. I just
like
can't
You
do
can't do a
pull-ups.
pull up.
It's okay. First of all, most people can't do a pull up.
I
don't
can
wanna
do
hear
a
that.
pull up.
I don't want to hear
If
it.
I'm on a sinking ship, I could do
Ah.
Like, it says, the water then was about up to my waist, but I kept on going. There were two others ahead of me, and we were all so exhausted it was very slow work. The captain and first assistant were behind me, and so exhausted they could not move. It was at this time that 3 more of the unfortunates were drowned. One of them was Fireman Nolan, and the other 2 were passengers whose names I did not know. At the same time, a sailor named Johnson, who was at the top of the aftermast, lowered a rope and secured the second mast, saving him from a watery grave. The sight of the poor men drowning before my eyes was simply horrible. We all would have given anything to save them, but it was not our lot to do so. I can hear yet the despairing words of the men, struggling for a position on the ropes to escape from the waves. All the boats were still in sight, and all of us on board the ship were yelling for someone to return to us.
Jeez, this is like Titanic vibes.
I know.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh man.
One of them heard us and was returning for us when the
God.
cruel words of one of the crew who had been saved, Harry Hall, a porter, rang out, "Don't mind them, let them go and save us." Fucking Harry Hall over here.
Okay, Harry Hall, you're a piece of shit.
Well, actually, I can explain to you why. The boat was sinking, and there's suction. So if they got too close, they would get sucked under as well.
I
So
know,
they
but,
would
like-
probably die too, as well as the guys who they were trying to save. So there is a reason why they were like, oh, we just can't go back for them. Because if you get too close to a sinking boat, you will be sucked under.
God damn it. Wait, so okay, go on.
The boats left us where we were, and had it not been for the miraculous settling of the steamer on a rock, we all would have been drowned. So it settled on the rock and stopped sinking, and because of that, they were able to just kind of stay where they were.
Oh my gosh.
And then, making the best of a bad situation, I lit a cigarette and handed the others to as many as I could reach, remarking, "This is about the last thing I'll do for you. Let us smoke." The homie.
Bro, I'd be like, hand me one.
Bro.
Yeah.
What a Chad.
I'm stressed.
All the boys were as cool as cucumbers, so they're like me, I guess.
Oh, Madeline. Yeah.
And while
Boys, let's have a smoke.
us cucumber fellows here, we'll have a smoke.
Well, they're just all just like, dazed, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, the adrenaline's probably ran off, and they probably are like running on
they're
steam.
just tired.
Oh, they're
yeah.
exhausted. Yeah, they're like, it's just fucking smoke.
I need a cigarette.
Oh man.
I don't smoke. I think I would eat a cigarette.
It'd be
after that.
so cold too, something warm in my lungs like that. Sign me up.
Actually, I think the reason why a lot of people survive these shipwrecks off the coast is because of the California coast is like generally like 65 degrees in general temperature in the ocean. So it's not that cold. It's not like crashing in the Atlantic where they were freezing to death in the water. Like you can be in that water, you'll be cold, but if you can get out in a timely fashion, you're not going to freeze to death and you're not going to get hypothermia.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the reason why a lot of people survive these shipwrecks is because
Madeline?
the water
Thank you
is
for that
just
information.
fantastic. Fantastic shipwreck water.
Yeah, I did not know that. That's good information to know.
Where was I? Oh, yes, Harry the Porter. The boats left us. I was beyond that. The cucumbers.
Yeah, did Harry the Porter go back for them?
No.
Damn it, Harry the Porter.
Okay, and while the
so good.
While the waves were roaring at our feet and the only means of escape had been denied us, we smoked and awaited results. We all, there's 7 of them, hung on those ropes for 2 hours, which seemed like 1,000 years. When we had given up all hope, we saw a boat approaching in charge of Captain Maginnis of the wrecker Whitelaw, who was a passenger of the Los Angeles. Okay, so this guy picked up a home. He was like, "Go that way." The other people. Had it not been for him, we would have all have been dead by this time. After all of us were saved from the forward boom, we rowed to the aftermast and took 2 others aboard. Oh, there's more hanging on to the wreckage, apparently. Okay. I only read through this once.
That's a lot.
In doing this, we came near upsetting our boat several times. So we then started for the shores and landed at Point Sur Lighthouse. And attempting to land, our boat was nearly swamped. But finally, we reached the terra firma, the earth, the land.
Oh, is that what that is?
I think that I don't know.
Yeah, terraform. It's the Earth.
Damn, this guy's fancy
And
with his words.
Many were.
I'm like, bro, I touched the land. Like,
It was
like, I finally reached my terraforma. Like, what, sir? He's delusional.
You would have been like, I was wet and then it was dry.
Yeah. For I couldn't stand and then I could.
Yeah. And then it goes on. The people at the Point Sur Lighthouse were very nice to them. Oh wait, but there is a really sad part.
Oh no.
So they were giving
sadder than what I heard.
One of the passengers we thought we had saved died a few moments after a landing had been affected by us. The poor boy was almost dead when we rescued him, and as we could do nothing for him until we reached land, he was too far gone when we finally tried to do something for him.
Oh.
And he died in my arms. Remember how we were watching the Ghost Adventures episode and they talked about how a boy died in a man's arms?
Yeah,
that's this. Yeah, that's this situation right here.
That is so sad.
Well, it's not. Yeah, that's. Oh man, that sucks.
It says, finding that we could do nothing for the unfortunate young man, several of us started to climb up to the lighthouse, and where the lighthouse families and them treated them very nicely. It says, and then he says, God Almighty never made a worse possible place for a wreck than Point Sur. And like I said, I disagree with that because it could have been a lot worse if the water was colder and stuff. So I would say it's not the worst place.
I mean, I understand why he would think that.
No,
way,
yeah,
though.
I get by his perspective, it's the worst place.
I witnessed people die right in front of my eyes. A boy died in my arms. I literally.
That was probably the worst day of his life.
Yeah,
no, it was probably terrible, but anecdotal.
My big toe hurt. Like everything just went wrong.
And also apparently many livestock died. I guess like when people rolled up onto the scene, they were like legs, I guess, and bodies, but it took people a second to realize that they were like the livestock of like, I don't know what specific livestock, could have been cows and sheep and whatever else,
Legs.
you know? Yeah, like legs sticking up out of the water and stuff from them like floating into shore.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
That's just, what a tragedy.
Well, the next couple of shipwrecks aren't like that interesting. Like there's the Majestic, and I couldn't really find information on that, but that happened December 5th of 1909. There's the Catania, and that happened on October 3rd of 1915. I also couldn't really find any information on that. There's the Shan-Yak. Excuse my pronounce of that. That was like, it's like a Japanese ship or something, or I forgot, but that ship, no one died once again, and it was towed to shore the next day. So, not that bad. So yeah, that's basically most of them. Like, it's like not the next shipwreck of note. It's not, I mean, technically it's not like a ship; it's an airship. The USS Macron, which was a naval ship. Macaroons. But yeah, on
Yummy.
February 13th of 1935, the U.S. Macron, which was a naval airship, crashed off the coast of the off of Point Sur. There were 83 crew members aboard at the time, and I guess what happened is that the U.S. Macron was already had sustained previous damage, and it was ported at near the coast like of Monterey to get repairs, but then they hadn't completely finished their repairs, but they went to do a maneuvering mission off the coast, and on their way back they ran into a storm, and because of the area that was already damaged wasn't fully like fortified, it got ripped off essentially, and so that's what caused this wreck.
Whoa.
Only 2 crew members were lost.
Jeez.
And I guess that was thanks to the warm conditions of the water. And they also had apparently introduced life jackets and inflatable rafts after the Akron tragedy. But there were 2 deaths from this particular crash. But no, it wasn't like because of the crash itself that they died. It was more of like their own personal error in the panic, kinda. Like the radioman first class, Ernest Daly, he had jumped from the ship while it was still too high above the water, and so when he hit the water, you know, can't hit water going from too high. And then
I remember that episode of Mythbusters. Yeah, it's not good.
And then mass attendant,
concrete.
yeah, mass attendant first class Floratino, he drowned while swimming back into the wreckage to try and retrieve his personal belongings. So
Wait, what? He
Yeah.
tried to go back?
he tried to go back to get his stuff, and he drowned. So
Yeah,
like I
that just
said,
goes to show
nobody-
it's never worth it.
yeah, nobody died. Yeah, that's the same reason that one guy from the Los Angeles got left on the boat, was because he went back to get his stuff. He would have gone on a boat, on a little life ship, if he didn't go back for his stuff. He would have avoided that whole memory.
Yeah, that's what everyone should try to remember whenever they're in a situation like that. You should never go
Don't
back
get
for your
your
stuff. That's what
stuff.
they always tell you that for a reason. Like, if an airplane's crashing, you're trying to get out fast, do not try to grab your package or whatever the fuck you brought with you. You got to get out immediately. Do not try to give back for your things.
Oh no. I would totally be that idiot that went back for their things.
Don't do it.
And then she drowned.
My stuff, my precious things.
And then
Precious.
this
Oh,
last
God.
shipwreck, Sparrow's Point, it happened in October 24th of 1947, and no one died as far as I can tell, but I guess there was the Sparrow's Point was an oil tanker, and it crashed into a Canadian freighter, like a cargo freight, 15 miles off the coast, but apparently no one died. And I was like, damn, man. Like, when I think of an oil tanker crashing into anything, I imagine an explosion. But I guess that's not what happened. Yeah, that's my first thought is like a giant explosion. I'm like, everyone's dead. But no, I think they're okay.
What's that one director that always does all the explosions?
Michael Bay.
That's a Michael Bay film.
And then that would be the end of our history for this location. But there is one thing I want to mention, and it is the name of the first lighthouse head lighthouse keeper. His name was James Nightwine. Nightwine. Isn't that classy as shit?
I love it.
It gives you like jazz lounge vibes. Like, I am Nightwine. He's just gonna hold his glass and do little circles with it.
A DC hero or villain.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, that is a name I would be okay with. So I just felt like that needed to be mentioned.
That is a cool name.
Nightwine. Yeah.
I challenge Nightwine every
Nightwine to a duel.
No, I channel. That's what I meant to
say.
I challenge Nightwine. Like I was telling Allison, the drink that I'm having now during this recording, I almost put Bacardi in it, but then I thought otherwise.
I was like, should I do a drunk podcast?
Should I just get drunk today?
Should I just get totally wasted?
To talk about our goals?
I just want to let all my inhibitions go.
Okay, well, on that note, I think it's time to talk about some hauntings.
Oh, it's my turn.
Finally.
Thank you for all that history, Maddie. All the detail was really good.
You gotta cut that down. That's already an hour. 9 minutes now. But yeah, it was an hour right before we went on to a break.
Okay, let's get to the fancy part, and that's the hauntings and what. The reported sightings from people and the. Okay, I keep forgetting the name of the thing.
Point Sur?
No,
the
EVP.
Oh,
EVP, which is what was the number one hotspot for EVPs? Where they reported a lot of people talking to them from the afterlife. I don't like that. Let's see. Sitting on top of the rock along Big Sur Coast, Point Sur Light Station is considered one of the most haunted lighthouses in the country and was featured in different episodes of Ghost Adventures. Even with its powerful beam, the lighthouse has been its share of shipwrecks over the years, and because of this, the spirits and those who perish still haunt the station and its surrounding buildings. Most specifically, an apparition of a tall man in blue, 19th century clothes, has been spotted around the tower.
Nightwine?
Nightwine, is that you?
He's looking for his wine.
Yeah, apparently. Considering the tragic history that has bestowed this lonely lighthouse, it is easy to see why many people believe that it is haunted. Many believe that the lost souls from the shipwrecks that occurred near the lighthouse have been guided to land by the bright lamp of the Point Sur Lighthouse. Lost and confused, some of them are thought to now have been taking up residence with the buildings that are scattered throughout the island. KSB Action News 8 did a little story on them. It's called Inside Haunted Big Sur. Uncovered about 20 ghosts currently living at the lighthouse and have been able to identify about 12 of the ghosts. Lighthouse is known as one of the most active spots in the state. Using a K2 meter, they captured voices. They said they don't feel like it's evil or malevolent intent from the ghosts.
Oh, that's comforting.
I don't know. Remember
didn't we watch that thing where one puts nail boards in the middle of the floor and then laughs maniacally when it's brought up? That sounds pretty malicious. It was really
yeah. If you guys want
to hear some sounds evil.
Ellie has some creepy information.
No, I was just saying if the listeners want to hear or watch some creepy stuff, they need to go watch Ghost Adventures on this episode. We watched it together one night and I was horrified. I would never.
I don't think it takes much to horrify you, Allison.
But they were laughing. How creepy.
Yeah, just Go ahead. Allison, go ahead.
Okay. The spirits thought to have wandered ashore to the lighthouse, including multiple sailors, young children, and a man in a navy blue suit. The man has been sighted by the countless guests walking through the visitor center, while others claim to hear or capture recordings of a little girl's voice. In addition to the lost souls, the spirits of the families that once managed and ran the lighthouse before are also rumored to have remained after death. In fact, as many as 20 ghosts, as we said, 20 ghosts are at the lighthouse. At least that's what they reported. One of the most common pieces of paranormal evidence that have been documented at the lighthouse is EVPs, electric voice phenomenons. In addition to this, people have cited apparitions, experience poltergeist activity, and sometimes the lighthouse beacon will move on its own. Oh God. The general assumption is that spirits of the shipwreck sailors who drowned off the coast now call this lighthouse home. And that's it. That's what I got.
Gotcha. So to go into some more detail about some of the stuff you broadly touched on, so some of the, I guess we can start with the stuff that aren't the EVPs, so we can kind of go into that more, because there have been some strange occurrences that weren't voice phenomenon, including what you mentioned, apparitions. So this person who, until I'm corrected, I'm just going to call him Mr. Nightwine.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, this man in the blue suit with the hat has been spotted apparently by multiple people who have visited. And
kind of that
like,
little girl said she saw it.
Right, there's a little girl who said that she. Go ahead.
Are you guys under the assumption that it's Nightwine purely because it's the only name of the lighthouse keepers that you know?
No, actually, no, exactly.
So it has to be Nightwine.
Until I'm corrected, I'm going to call him Nightwine.
Okay.
Mr. Nightwine has been sighted, including there was one story by a tour guide who said a little girl thought that there was somebody who was missing from the tour because she had seen this person and was wondering where he'd went. And people were like, no, nope.
Mistaken, sweetheart.
Yeah. Another person apparently saw this figure, this male entity, passing by a window when they were inside one of the buildings. I can't recall which building they were in. It was somewhere in like the main complex where the multiple built houses were, and they just passed by a window, and they went outside and there was nobody outside. And a couple other things that occurred are apparently drawers opening and closing. Like someone like swears they close all the drawers, and it wasn't a thing. One of the stories wasn't just like, oh, like there was one drawer open, where it'd be like, okay, like they came when all the drawers were back open, and that kind of freaked them out apparently.
I mean, that would freak anybody out.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of my least favorite things, and like ghost things where like people come in and like all the drawers in their kitchen or something are opened. I'm just like, why you gotta open my drawers?
I remember there was this one time, Mom didn't know this, but I hate when cups are upside down. I hate it.
Wait,
and like I walked, I hate it.
I didn't know
like
that.
It freaks me. Yeah, it freaks me out. I hate when cups are upside down.
Wait, hold on. Why do you hate it when cups?
I don't know. I hate it. Like I look at it and it gives me absolute chills.
Who hurt you?
I don't know, Mom. Yeah. So I remember this one time Mom was trying something different in the kitchen. She's like, feng shui. I'm trying something different. And I went in the kitchen, I opened it, and like all the cups were upside down, and I literally screamed.
Poltergeist.
I was like, oh my God. I was like, what happened? I was like, all the cups are like facing a weird way.
The mark of the devil.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't like that kind of stuff. That freaks me out.
Things getting out of place like that, I understand how that could be jarring. I don't know if you remember, I think it was the second Paranormal Activity film. That was something that they did with all the cupboards and
they just pop open at once. Like they opened up, she closes them all, and then all at once they go boom. And that part, when I first saw that made me jump.
Me too.
It's because sudden loud noises.
Hell no. I think what mostly made me jump to is her like piercing scream. Because that's literally how I would have screamed. I would have been like from the depth of my soul.
That would have been terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying. I wouldn't live there. I don't know what these people are thinking. I know it's a movie, but like, geez Louise.
But it wasn't the ghost. It wasn't the house that was haunted. It was like their family.
I know, but they didn't know that. I would have fucking left.
It
It's
wouldn't
true.
have
In the beginning-
mattered.
Wait, real quick. It's true. In the beginning, before they knew that they were haunted, it wasn't actually the house. I feel like if it was me, after it wouldn't take much for me to want to leave the house, but they stayed.
They powered through and they said, let's have a child here.
Well, it didn't start happening until after the child was born because it wanted the firstborn boy.
Oh, that's right, the firstborn son. Why though? Can you remember the?
It
preference
was
of, like,
oh my! It was some like
Because they
old
were
witchcraft
like-
stuff. Yeah, they were like
an
cursed and
ancestor, like
yeah.
was in the occult, and they promised like
they've
Oh,
had
that's
like nothing
right.
but girls, and then like this girl's son would be the first of the boys to be
Gee.
born.
absolute
So
nightmare.
yeah,
But that's actually kind of funny that we say that. Like, oh, after like the first thing, I would have been out of there. But in this case, we have people who are, I guess, volunteering to tend to this historic location, and it's like, yeah, the drawers they all opened back up. I'm
Well,
like,
if
what
I
can you
witnessed
do?
that- if I witnessed that, I'd be gone.
you think
like,
so? You think you're like a new job?
Oh no, it's not even that. Like, I mean, we all plan to go visit there, and they do like overnight camping and stuff, and I would totally do it. Like 100%, I'd be down. But I'm telling you right now, as soon as one drawer opens, I'm fucking running out that building.
Cancel the trip.
One weird noise, I'm gone. Hey, go ahead.
All right. So other than drawers opening and closing, and apparitions being seen, there have also been what this place is actually most famous for. It's for these crystal clear, I'm talking stellar EVP recordings, electronic voice phenomenon, where it, like we've talked about this before about the iffiness about recorded voices, about how sometimes it's like the most muffled sounding thing you could imagine. But in the cases of the ones they've captured here, I mean, I gotta say, I like if these are fake, like bravo, these are some good fakes. But if they're not fake, I mean, come on, ghosts are real. Let's be real. If we're capturing straight up voices like this and they're not faked,
That's
they're
so
not coming.
creepy.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, if you think it could be like instead of necessarily ghosts, it's just a thinning of like if like instead of time being linear, if it's like happening at the same time, but like there's times where like the two times could kind of merge together, so it's not necessarily that there's a ghost happening, but like
Okay, I'm getting the like dimensional theory.
yeah,
that you're
where you can
inserting.
like where like people where like a different time is still happening in that same moment, but like the planes aren't exactly lined up to where like the vibrational
What?
frequencies to where like it's like it's happening, but like it was just like a memory or like it's
Yeah,
That's
that thought.
an
I wanna
interesting
come-
thought.
Actually, I'm glad you bring that up because I want to come back to that idea after I go over some of what's been recorded. These really clear EVPs.
Creepy. Your guys
So-
are very creepy.
Yeah, so I have written down here some of the phrases and words that have been recorded, and after I go through them, I want to go back to that So here are some of the ones that have been recorded by there's a woman who like is up by the lighthouse, like a volunteer, like gives tours and stuff. Her name's Julie Nunez. She was interviewed both by a news, I forget which news. It was like a local California news station, and also she was on that episode of Ghost Adventures. But she recorded a bunch during her time, and here's a smattering of them. So one of them is a woman's voice saying, "Now she wants you to go home." Another, also an adult woman's voice, saying, "Go to bed." And there's also what sounds like a younger girl saying, "Go to bed." Another female voice was saying, "Not you." And there was another woman's voice recording some kind of whispery, saying something like, "You liar, you kissed her." The other EVP we got here from a girl sounds like a little girl, like a young person saying, "I'm right here." And then the other one that we heard from this person's recordings is the creepy laughter that was referenced earlier. So there were a couple volunteers that were moving through one of the old houses, and they're abandoned. No one lives there anymore. They're just there as historical structures. And so one of the ceilings, their boards are kind of falling down over time. But one of them was remarking that it's like how weird it was, how, yeah, it's like the boards are like maybe them falling on the floor isn't super weird considering it's an old abandoned building, but she thought it was weird how they seemed to be aligning themselves in front of the door, under the door frame, with the nails sticking straight up. And then one of the other volunteers says something like, yeah, that's not good. Someone could get hurt because of that. Someone could really get hurt here. And then, like, over them talking, you hear some, like, a third person. To me it sounded like a male. There's something kind of masculine about the tone, like uttering this rather creepy laugh over them, just like ha 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 ha, like, but creepy. I don't know how to do a creepy laugh. Allison, do your best creepy laugh for me.
I don't know how.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
I
I don't know. I don't even know. Oh, beautiful.
There you go. You're welcome.
It was kind of sinister. It was something like that. Okay, not quite.
Calm
right.
down.
It's the evil wizard.
Oh shit! It's the cloud.
And then one other notable EVP that I want to bring up that because I'm only talking about the ones we've personally heard. There's been like other reports of other people having recorded these really clear EVPs, but I'm only talking about the ones we've personally heard and how clear they are. And then we did hear the sound that was recorded during that Ghost Adventures episode of Point Sur, where they were reviewing their own recordings of a previous EVP sessions in one of the main buildings on the by the lighthouse, and they heard that girl singing. Do you remember that one?
Yes.
I distinctly remember that one because that one scared the absolute crap out of me. The way they turned around and they all like turned around really like slowly just to see if like anything was behind them. Yeah, no, not a thing.
I'm not as scared of it as Allison is. A little girl singing. What the fuck? That's not scary.
A little.
The sinister laugh to doing something malicious and intent of hurt would be more terrifying than a child singing a song.
Oh, what was that one movie where it's like a ghost movie and it's on the boat?
Ghost
you know
Ship?
What I'm talking about?
Ghost Ship was.
I Live.
Holy crap, that one was insane.
I don't remember that one too. I remember they found the little girl's body in the closet.
Yeah,
that's what I remember most
she's very
from that
sad.
one.
They hung her, right?
Or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, they killed her and hung her there. But
Okay.
those were the major cores I wanted to bring up because I personally was just really kind of astounded by how clear they were. Because like I said before, typically when I think of EVPs, what first comes to my head is like the really garbled, like what even is that? But when you listen to this, it just sounds like a person talking into the mic, like to the point where I wouldn't want to.
You would think somebody else was there.
Right. I wouldn't just reductively want to toss it out as like, oh, my brain's just putting words, like sounds together to make it sound like a word. It's like, if this is not words, then I could reduce every person talking to me as simply a collection of words my brain is putting together to make sense, because it's so clear. And that was really kind of astounding to me.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But if we also went into into the content of what they're saying, I think that ties in kind of well to what Malin was saying, because something that struck me is that a lot of things that they were saying seemed kind of detached
in the middle of
perhaps
some distant conversation.
Like the one where it says like you, like I remember this one, like you liar, you kissed her, for example. There's nothing that was really prompting anyone to talk about kissing somebody. It just kind of comes out of nowhere.
No,
So
but for the listeners that don't know, apparently there was a suspected what's that word called?
Adultery.
Affair.
Yeah, affair, adultery going on between people who lived there in different houses.
Some of the families.
Or
Some of the
I
families.
mean, it could have been with one of the single teachers.
It could have been one of
Think
the
about that. Now that you know that there were
romantic
young, lovely teachers living on the property.
But there's some context of why we think like it's like past situations that have nothing to do with the current, because like literally, I mean, it makes a lot of sense, like those things, like them saying those kind of things, because that's what was happening in their time period.
Right. And to quickly touch on, for anybody who's not quite familiar, there is a type of haunting that is known in the vernacular called a residual haunting, which is distinct from an intelligent haunting. A residual haunting is kind of like if you had a tape, like a movie, and you put it in the VCR player and it just like replays and it's the same thing. Disconnected from anything that's happening immediately in their environment. And yeah, it's called a residual haunting. An intelligent haunting is one where it's aware of things that are happening in its environment, that things have changed in its environment. It's not stuck in an
Whoa.
historical present. It's something that would interact with you. Like if you asked it a question, it could present you with an answer.
Like a
If it's a residual,
poltergeist.
right, a poltergeist. If it's a residual haunting, it's something, yeah, like a time capsule where what you're interacting with or what you're kind of hearing is like a record player of a conversation someone had from the past. One theory, which Malin touched on, is that it could be like a loop in time. Maybe it's not like a ghost the way that I think when people think of ghosts, they think of like the intelligent haunting types, but residual haunting could potentially, in a case like this, be that time loop kind of sequence repeating itself. And so if you hear these voices talking about disconnected events from the goings on of the lighthouse today as an historic touring center in Big Sur State Park, you could hear somebody, an intimate conversation like, "You liar, you kissed her," or, "Time to go to bed," things like that. That doesn't quite explain the laughter in the middle of that
I was about to say,
Yeah,
doesn't-
that's the
that
one
doesn't
that-
explain the wood one.
Yeah, it seems like because there is also a poltergeist activity, so there would be examples of an intelligent haunting on top of the residual hauntings happening.
That does seem plausible. And something I want to bring up in that respect is the presence, because most of the female voices were these ones that I think you could say sound more residual, like detached from question answers. But the laughter was this male voice. And as we can recall, there have been interactions with the person I am affectionately calling Night Wine. In a way that doesn't seem residual or like a time loop. Seem to be responding to people in a way completely different from the others. I don't think it's impossible that in such a scenario that there could be like residual hauntings as well as an intelligent haunting that maybe has more like a different kind of interaction with its environment, and can interact with the world in a different way. Something that stuck out to me was that, at least to me, the laughter sounded kind of like a male voice. So if that was indicative of a more intelligent haunting, then that could be like kind of a, I don't know, mischievous or malicious goings on.
That's a full on nope on that one. Avoid at all costs. Just walk right past that wood. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah, I'm reminded, as we're talking about residual hauntings as well, of there's one metaphor that kind of stuck with me about the way that I think about time and how the way that we think about time as this, like, yes, this is just linear progression. I heard someone use a metaphor about time being perhaps like a stack of papers. And when you have a stack of papers, you have multiple like stories and goings on at the same, like stacked on top of each other. But maybe on some of those stacks of paper, the paper's a little thinner, or maybe the ink bleeds into each other a little more on one side than the other. And so maybe if time works that way, like you could see a glimpse of another time at a certain location.
And then you
I thought
get
that was
missing
really...
411.
Oh, no. Or you get a residual haunting.
Or you get a residual haunting. Or
I don't know
people disappear.
I hope you don't get sucked in, like you get sucked back in time or forward in time, just not in.
Oh, hell no. Oh, man. See, I don't listen to those 411 things like you guys do.
It's a different topic. I don't know if there's time loops involved. Could explain where people are going.
And then finding their stuff in like weird areas, later on. Anyway, not important in this situation. But
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
because we were talking about how clear the EVPs are, and like, you know, we were talking about when we were watching the show as to like why it might be, and we brought up the location, that it's an isolated on top of this volcanic rock, specifically volcanic. So maybe it's just because of it being like up higher than the rest of its surroundings, like with the water being there. It's like making a mob spawner in Minecraft, where you put water everywhere and you get rid of everything else spawning, and then you just get that one hotspot.
I like the Minecraft reference, that's for sure.
Really, really bring it down to home.
Oh man.
Or I
Everything's
actually
so
remember,
clear now.
Yeah, I remember somebody.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's all clear. But I do remember something that Zach Bagans said in that episode of Ghost Adventures about how there's a theory about the effects that water, as a progenitor of energy, swirling around, crashing on rocks, rivers, etc.
Water holds
potentially-
memory.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm guessing Jewel hasn't seen the second Frozen, or else he would have gotten that
I
immediately.
haven't. Yeah. Okay. Is that what that was?
Boo.
Boo.
That's
Oh,
like the whole
movie.
premise of the movie.
I was gonna watch Frozen 1, but my screen's frozen. So I was like, screw it. I'll go on my TV. TV's frozen too.
Oh wow,
Okay.
Alice.
You guys remember that? Do you remember that meme?
I
No.
don't.
What? Oh man. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you guys.
Yeah, why are things super clear on this rock? I don't know. But there are some things where unless these are some like really dedicated fakes, there's got to be another explanation other than, oh, you're just hearing things.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that this place definitely has a lot more activity than the Whaley House,
I
it
think so,
seems.
too.
Especially with like a more, I guess,
Oh.
just tangible,
I
guess,
had
activity.
something back to our previous episode. Actually, I had a guest who went there and did one of the like nighttime tours.
Oh.
Yeah, and so she was telling me that she felt like a dog lick her
What?
leg, and apparently that's like something that they say happens because like they said that there might be a dog that is like haunting that house as well, because she's like, I swear to God, I felt a dog lick my leg, and that freaked me out. I was like, oh no.
Ghost
I
dog.
know.
His cat. Remember we had a ghost dog, Casper?
Ghost dog Casper. Yeah. I remember that one.
I heard there's
Could've
a
been.
ghost cat at the Whaley House too. For the cat people out there.
There's a cat there too.
I hope the cat licks me when I go.
Yeah.
It would be like sandpaper all of a sudden.
I don't want no dog licks. I want a cat lick.
But she said that felt really weird, and like literally her arm felt like wet and cold, like, or not her arm, her leg felt like wet and cold.
It
Which I
licked
thought
her
was
leg.
really, yeah, that's what she said. She was like, "What was that?" And they were like, "Oh, it's a dog."
It's just the dog.
Do you know where in the house she was when she got?
No,
Ghost
sorry,
dog
I didn't ask. No, I didn't ask the specific location. Ghost dog licked. Hopefully, it's a dog.
Okay, so to
Hannah's
recap a
licking people, guys. That or
Yeah.
Yankee Jim going around licking people's legs.
God damn it, Yankee Jim.
little- like, I'm gonna throw these people off my
Uh-huh.
set.
I'm gonna lick
their
that
legs.
leg.
I mean, if I was really bored as a ghost, I might be licking
Okay,
someone's-
I do.
yeah.
Okay, jokes aside, I really don't want to imagine Ghost Yankee Jim on his
Crawling
hands
up
and
and
knees.
licking
Oh
someone's
God!
leg. His fucking legs are broken. That's why he has to crawl.
Oh my god! Joel, don't do that ever. With your tongue.
Jill, that reminded me of like, for a visual for anyone who, you know, because you couldn't see this, it reminded me of like from Silent Hill when that, you know, like the janitor that molested the poor little girl and like he was tortured and stuff, and like, you know, that that scene, that's what I imagine. This Yankee Jim, he's coming.
Yankee Jim, no.
He's like, God,
God,
please, Yankee Jim, no.
crawling on his hands and knees.
Oh no! Now I have that image in my head, Melon. Pure horror.
Yeah, it is. Dude, the first Silent Hill is terrifying. I heard the second one was bad and I never took the time to watch it. But the first one,
Oh, the
I think
film.
yeah. Like
I
not
think
the
I've seen,
games,
like,
yeah.
part of the second one. I don't think I've seen the whole second one.
The first one was really creepy. I
Yeah,
hated
that
the
one's
like
great.
cult
so good.
element.
No, the
Yeah.
first one's amazing. Anything cult related freaks me out.
Yeah,
so that's great. It
Cults
was a
are
good
something
movie.
else, man.
God, cults be trifling.
Try and avoid the cults, people.
You know what? They make things worse. Whatever's happening, the cult will make it worse. Like the devil, they'll summon another devil. Like they'll just make it worse.
I didn't believe in it till I saw the cult. Yeah.
Now there's 2 devils.
Yeah.
God damn it.
You guys
Yes.
just think we're doing this wrong. I think I just summoned another devil. Damn it, bro. Okay, go, Joe. What were you gonna say next?
I'm sorry. Oh God.
We're making it worse, guys.
Oh, something I don't know if Madeline. You mentioned the 2 men who died in 1930s, right?
In the on the USS Macron.
No, there's 2 men who were doing like a little transport, probably bringing that one guy his 30 gallons of milk.
Yeah, apparently.
3. It's 3 gallons.
Oh, sorry,
Not
30.
30?
Milk.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
He was really pissed at that point.
Apparently, in the 1930s, 2 men were transporting some goods over onto the island, and their boat capsized, and they died on the
Jewel,
rocks.
why did it
Oh,
just get
man.
so dark?
My light just went out.
And then Jewel disappeared.
I turned it back on. We're fine.
It turned off by itself, or you turned it
Yeah.
off?
It turned off.
Which one? Oh, by itself?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Does it do that often, Jewel?
Yeah.
Like, no, this has never happened before.
Does
It's
it?
fine.
Answer the question, Joel. No, answer the question. This is a regular thing?
Tell me if you feel Yankee Jim like your leg.
Don't get marked by Yankee Jim.
The old Yankee Jim lick. You're marked for life.
God, I got chills. That's the last thing I want in my fucking life.
Dude, I still remember that time you were sitting in your room. And I thought David was behind you for like an hour of talking to you on fucking FaceTime.
I remember
like-
that.
She was, yeah, so it was like a mirror. And so she was facing the mirror. So the mirror was behind her, but it looked like it was David because it was like so dark, you know? So I was like, oh, cool, David. You know, like they share a room. David's behind her. And then she was like, oh, I gotta go check on David. I'll be right back. And I was like, Joel, what do you mean? She was like,
Who's
David's
behind
downstairs. I was like,
you?
Joel, yeah, turn around slowly.
I remember that. That was like,
Turn
why?
Imagine
No, you
after
were like-
Jewel turned around and looked in the mirror and turned back at you, her face was still facing the mirror.
I would have, Melon, I would have just hung up.
Joel, you're fucked. Bye.
Yeah, that's Joel's problem.
You would have
Talk to her when she's done with that.
I'll let her sort that one out herself.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a you problem.
Okay.
Yeah, so another thing about the EVPs at the Point Sur Lighthouse is that I think it would be interesting to also point out that it does seem that certain times of day I during the episode I remember they said like certain times of day I think they were getting
They capture them during day and nighttime, so they had to do them at both because that's when the activity happens.
They did investigations during day or night, which I think just makes sense. I don't know why usually they only. I'm not like. Why does it seem like activity only happens at night? Like, is it just that like, oh, I'm creeped out at night and so everything's gonna make me jump, or is there something to that?
They said it specifically at that location that they were able to find that it was activity during the day, which isn't usual. So they said that in the video that it's not like a usual thing.
I feel like most of the times that I've seen like ghosts at our old house was, I'm pretty sure like it was basically all pretty much during the day.
Okay, Melon, that's you.
Well, you're a medium.
Like,
Of course,
there
Yeah,
is-
you just summon them whenever. Yeah.
Of course, mediums can see them during the day. The rest of us plebes need like the power of the lunar cycle or something.
There's a
Which I'd
pink
rather
moon
have. When's the supermoon again?
on the
27th,
27th.
Oh,
like in 2 days.
I just hit my mic. Did it sound crazy?
No,
I heard it, but
I
it's
heard it
okay.
doink.
It did doink.
It doinked.
Maddie, you're trying to get a good location to capture the supermoon, right?
Yeah. I
Malin always
think I'll
takes
be
really good
fine.
photos of the moon.
I think I was actually gonna go outside tonight and look at where the moon was rising just to get an idea, but it might be too cloudy because it is supposed to be cloudy tonight and tomorrow night.
It's supposed to rain
Oh, is that
tomorrow.
true?
Yeah.
Bummer.
So well, it's
Okay.
not till the 27th, so
That's in
it'll
2
be
days.
yeah. It should be sunny again by then and less cloudy, hopefully. So
I feel like maybe even more than an apparition, if I were to capture an EVP like one of these, and I know like I captured this and there was nobody here, I think that would for sure be like a highlight.
the highlight of my life.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, you seem
ghosts
really
finally
excited.
talked to me.
What about you, Allison? If a ghost tried talking to you
They already have.
in a clear voice,
Yeah, in a clear voice. I don't know. It depends it depends on the situation. Because if it was a clear voice in the Utah bathroom, I'd have just thought it was just some random person. I'm like, cool. I just talked to a random person while trying to go
What
to the
if you're
bathroom.
at home by yourself and you're sitting in your room and you hear like a
Uh-huh.
clear voice that sounds
No.
like it's coming from like your hallway just outside your
No,
bedroom?
I physically don't
Like-
know how I would react. I might just start screaming in a pure panic.
Allison's
right
gonna
there.
run out her back door and like climb the fence and fucking run.
No, honestly, I'd probably just be like, done. Like, and in that, I would try and call one of you guys for sure, and just crying. Allison, what's wrong? I swear, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. I just heard somebody talk to me. No one's here.
I think it's maybe a bit like a point of comfort about if we do go to this location, which I really hope we do get to go sometime, is that it doesn't seem like anybody who has heard or encountered any of these ghosts have necessarily had a bad experience about it.
Well,
so-
that's what they said. It's not malicious or
yeah.
Unless you
you
step
know,
on one of
people
them
invent-
rusty nails.
Except for the Joker ghost or whatever,
yeah,
Mr. Nightwine.
It's like I know how
Mr.
you got those scars
yeah.
with the rusty nail I put on the floor.
Mr. Plywood Ghost.
Because I get what you're saying, Allison, about if you heard a voice in a hallway, that would probably freak you out.
Yeah.
I think I've thought about this, and I think that instinctually I too would want to run away, but I would want to fight that fear in order to confront it.
You know what, Joel? Good for you. You're a different breed.
Like and follow us at Girls Versus Ghouls on Instagram. And do we have our YouTube up yet?
No, we will start that once we actually start recording these sessions after getting
Beautiful.
us on Spotify and on Apple Podcast. As soon as we do, so I'm also on our Instagram, Girls Versus Ghouls. We also have our personal pages linked in there as well if you would like to follow us personally on Instagram.
Yes, please like and subscribe to this if you like this episode. We have plenty more coming up. We're going to be doing lots of fun stuff here on the podcast.
All the shenanigans you could do.
Right. On that note, everyone listening, I want you to also work on conquering your fears. I think that's worthy for us all to try to do. This is Girls Versus Ghouls, and until next time, we are Jewel, Allison, and Madeline. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Goodbye, everybody.
Girls
Versus
Ghouls.